Hello ladies and gents, welcome back to Wellington Phoenix Fan TV. It's Eli here, and I'm going to be talking about the game, but before I do that, it's a weird one because I'm going to be talking about the atmosphere. And going into the game, we were all expecting a record crowd, which we did get, which was around 23,500 or something like that. And going into the game when everyone came in, I kind of figured it would be around that mark. And I thought there would be more in the Yellow Fever stand, but there obviously wasn't. And it just didn't really sound like a 23,000 crowd. You know, you look at Cooper Stadium, and it's kind of the same. It's a lot smaller, obviously, but it's kind of the same, layout. And they only have about 9,000, 10,000 at a game max, and they sound like a Premier League team, on their days. And I just felt like the 23,000 that attended the game at Eden Park on Friday night, it just sounded like a library, and you can say most people that attended were plastic and they were bandwagons, but still you expect them to get into it. They pay their money, and they did get a good game in the end. But yeah, and also the Yellow Fever, it just didn't. No one could basically hear us, and there were people questioning that on social media when they were watching it on TV, and they were asking why they couldn't hear us chant, besides when the fouls didn't go our way and we booed and all that. But I just think 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 at Westpac Stadium sounds a bit more louder than that, and a better atmosphere. Obviously it's different because it's a cake tin, and it would, obviously the sound would go around more. But it was a weird one. I just didn't really. I wasn't hyped for the game like I usually am when we're chanting and singing at Westpac Stadium, in a way. And I don't know if anyone else feels like that. But anyway, I'll move on to the game now. Obviously, it was a weird one going into it as well, because I saw that Toivonen was out, and that's a big loss for Melbourne Victory, because he likes to score tap-in goals. No offence to Victory fans if you watch. But everyone was expecting a good game based on the other two results, which was a 1-1 and a 3-3 draw. And yeah, and both times we've led and we slipped. Most notably the 3-1 when we were 3-1 up at AMI Park. I don't even know what it's called. Fucking Victory's ground, and it was. And then we think to ourselves, we're at home, if we can get a lead, we'll be able to hold on to it a bit better. But it just, it felt like both teams went up for it. And I know you could say, yeah, it was a good game because, it was really close and all the stats and everything. But it still felt like we were a bit off. I thought we weren't as good as how we performed against Newcastle. I thought Newcastle, when we versed them in the first half, it was probably one of the best halves we've had in a while since our run of form. And it just felt like, and even Melbourne Victory, and I think Melbourne Victory fans would agree with me that they felt like their team was off as well. And I know they didn't have Toivonen, and Honda was on the bench, but going into the game, we had chances, and maybe Victory should have had should have scored a few. But at the end, it was when Krishna had an opportunity to tap it in. And it was a scramble in the box. Everyone thought, surely we were in for the 1-0 lead. But at 0-0, I 100% knew that was Victory's game plan. Victory's game plan was to go into the game. Obviously, they were under strength with not having a normal striker up front. And they kind of thought to themselves, okay, Honda can't play the full 90. So let's, hold off. Just press and take our chances, which they didn't, thank God, and we'll bring in Honda, 45-50 minutes, which they did. And I thought to myself, that's their game plan, 100%, and that's what happened. And when he came on, I was nervous because obviously it's Honda, he's their playmaker. He was obviously at the start of the season before he got injured, he was their main source of attack and their main source of goals. But no, I thought we isolated him very well. I don't think he really, besides the penalty, which I'll talk about that soon, didn't really have much, and he absolutely got carved to bits by Kakache, which I thought was an outstanding run. And I thought second half we were the better team, 100%. I thought first half we lacked off a bit, Victory were the better team, but I thought in the second half we had our chances to win the game. And it just goes to show with Krishna, when it was obviously a great goal, a great finish, and put us 1-0 up. And we had the chance to go 2-0 up, and it just goes to show Krishna has cost us points. I know he's probably won us our other points, like our other 28, 29, but you also got to look back and be like, how many points has he actually cost us now? He is contending for the Golden Boot, and if you're making mistakes like that, just like the tap-in, you could say it was a great save from Thomas, but you really should be scoring from 3-4 yards out. And so basically, when I knew we had to score another goal to get the game, and if you look back, he's cost us about, I would say, 7 points. We could have got a draw against Sydney at home, which he missed, and we lost. We should have taken and he had a penalty to score the winner against Newcastle, which gets 4 points now, and now he missed pretty much a tap-in from 4, 5, 6 yards out. And you just got to look at it now, when we drop points against Newcastle, who are actually, we're like 12 points behind us, who are now only 6 points behind us. If we won that game against Newcastle, got a draw against Sydney, and won this game against Melbourne, we would be 15, 16 points ahead of them. And we'll probably maybe even be in the top 4, top 3. But anyway, don't complain. We are where we are. Life goes on. But now talking about the game, the penalty, it's a hard one to say, because when I was watching it live, it looked like a penalty. And you can look at it two ways. The first way you can look at it is Fenton pulls Broxham back. And obviously Krishna gives him a little bit of a nudge, but if Krishna really didn't have anything to do with it, you can look at it that way, Fenton pulling him back, but then you can look at it in a way of his momentum. You got to think to yourself that Broxham was sprinting as hard as he could, and obviously when two players come together and the opposition player runs through, he's obviously going to feel contact and fall down. And I felt like it was more momentum than it was of a pullback from Fenton. But hey, you can look at it both ways. And so yeah, I would personally say it was a penalty, because of Fenton pulling back. Or you could also say it's momentum, but for me it was a penalty. And obviously Honda scored. But yet again, the goalkeepers were on fire. You have Thomas making important save, which got them a point. And you see Kurto making, yet again, some world-class saves. And it's only a matter of time now before at the end of the season I think Kurto's going to get a move back to Europe, if I'd be completely honest with, and I think everyone else would agree. I think he's the best goalkeeper in the league, and I think he doesn't deserve, really. I think the Phoenix have kind of kick-started him back into being a great goalkeeper. And I think if he keeps going how he goes and we make it into finals, and even if we push a little bit more, he will definitely get a spot back in Europe. But basically that was my thoughts on the game. And basically our next game's obviously against Sydney. I think it's so stupid that we have a home game in Sydney. I think everyone else agrees, but at least if there's a big attendance and Sydney FC fans can help us with that, it'll go under our attendance record, which is good. But, when you look at it, it's a big game. If we win, we go fourth, and we go, pending that results go our way, and we'll be 4 points behind Sydney. But yeah, that's probably going to be a good game again, but I'm not here to talk about that. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Obviously me, Calvin and Justin went to the game, and we had a great time in Auckland, and yeah, it was it was a good weekend. And you guys will obviously see snippets of that throughout the week. Should get that uploaded by the time you see this. But anyway, it's been Eli Wilding. At least I didn't swear this time that much. But yeah, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and yeah, catch you later, guys and girls.